Oh, I told my sister about we got to go one night Chick-fil-A, so she might ask me someone.
And it's not necessarily Chick-fil-A, but we don't know. He's off the grid now. Oh, he's working for money for Chick-fil-A. I see. Not he's working for either Amazon or Sony right now. He's just kind of like putting PS5s in boxes and like shipping them. That's the problem. He's incommunicado. We can't reach him, but otherwise I would, because this clone sure wants to play some PS5. All right, guys, let's see how that second declension's looking. Emilius, he did it. Grace, she did it. That's third declension, and that's it's just like it could be anything. Caitlin's known it for her entire life. She's bored by this. Soraya's known it all of her life. She's bored by it. Ava and Danny have it. Aiden is doing it. This kid didn't even try. The saddest thing of all. Natalie didn't even do it because she knows it, and she's not going to mess around. All right, but I wanted to see Nathan and Jake give it a shot. Okay, so remember, guys, we're going to play Jeopardy tomorrow, and then we'll have the test on Friday. Caden, everyone else, chill out. We're starting. We're actually starting, okay? Yeah, he is right. But the three of y'all are still talking. Nathan, dude, chill. Nathan, chill out. Okay, so one of the sentences that we're going to go over today from your homework is going to be on the test, right? It's going to be that sentence. I'll tell you the kinds of questions I'm going to ask, so you're taking notes on your homework. So if you're someone like Richard or Miss Fisher who forgot their homework, you still need to take notes, or else it's going to negatively affect your test. Because you can be like the best audio-based listener in the world, but I think you still need to be writing down like, oh, the verb tense here was this, and you might ask about it on Friday's test. But anyway, it'll be like a 5-point sentence, like 2 points for the translation, and then 3 points worth of like fill in the blanks about 2 of the words. And then it's going to be the second declension, and that'll be 10 points. So it's a 15-point quiz. It's not 20 like last Friday's, but that's still a lot more than like most of our quizzes. So it's another chance to like keep your grade really high or get a bunch of bonus points. There might be 2 bonus point opportunities again. I have plenty of people like high in the A+ zone because the bonus points like really jack up the curve. Yeah? Probably today. Once we get through the 5, I have a couple more prepared, but I'll pause at least and just pass them out because they're just in my binder. It's just one of the tests we didn't really need to check too much. So, yeah.
Can I check my?
Well, like an essay. Yeah, you can always go to me an essay to check your grade. All right, this is the first to clinch. I think y'all are doing pretty good with it. Tomorrow we'll probably do the drawn out thing again, where I ask people to fill it out for me. But here is the second declension, except not really because I just froze it. What is happening? It does this thing where it like, anyway, I've talked about this. It's really cool. Where is the project? Whoa. It is unpaused. Technical issues are truly amazing. I love them so much, these technical issues. Okay, now I guess we're good. All right, Miss Dugan, the second declension. How are you feeling about it? Eh? Okay. Remember, guys, if you can put the UM there, the nominative singular, and the A's in the nominative plural and accusative plural, you get a bonus point from that. There'll probably still be like a bonus question on top of that, just to reiterate. So you could possibly get 17 points on this quiz. But that means you'll put USR and UM in the nominative singular spot. I'm not going to, like, tell you to specify, like, oh, the US and the R for the masculine ones and the UM for neuter. I'll just, like, know what you mean. And anyway, after that is UMO down the singular side, long I, orum, east, down the plural side. So if you knew the first declension, which, like, at least 90% of you did, the other 10%, I still believe in you, and I want you to help me to help you to close that gap. But if you knew the first declension, like a lot of y'all did, this should be fine. I'm sure you're at this point sort of observing patterns. The weird thing about it is sometimes you kind of rotely memorize it in a mechanical way, but don't see the patterns until later. So maybe that'll be happening increasingly as y'all learn the third declension next week. Caitlin. All right. What? No, what was it?
I think the third declension is easier.
Yeah, I kind of think it's easier too because of the question mark and then a lot of I's and E's. And all what? What else were you say? Sorry.
There's EM. Yeah, it's just easier.
Yeah, the EM, but I feel like things like the EM and the accusative third is really easy once you know the first and second are AM and UM. At that point, it's just like, yeah, I'm starting to see like all the
Are we gonna have a
coherence.
test on where we do all three at the same time?
Maybe. I mean, once we do third next week and I see that the curve stays around like 90% success rate, that would almost be redundant because it's like y'all should all be able to. But yeah, maybe for the final. I've done that for the final in my first years of Latin, like in May, just in having kids show me all three. Because when y'all come back, Miss Fisher, in August, sorry to say, there will probably be another Latin teacher, but there's a good chance I'll still be teaching y'all too. Like,
Wait, why is there gonna be no line?
just because we have that many Latin classes, I'll probably
Oh.
stick with all the classes I'm teaching this year and like just kind of move up with you for better or for worse, whether you like me as a teacher or not. I'm probably going to be your teacher at least next year, maybe the year after that, and then I'll leave you alone, I promise. But we'll start with the fourth declension. That'll be like the first thing we look at in August or maybe September. All right, who can read number one? Number one. Richard, thank you.
This name, enum, feminine, this name, Ramon's name, enum. Say that. Tabitha's name, is donor.
Good. Yeah. There's some weird words here like aeom and amosne, aeom, ei, but good pronunciation there. Does anybody want to translate them? I will say, I think these sentences are some of the trickiest we've had, and not necessarily in the most interesting way. We'll get more interesting trickiness around like chapter 15, but these are tricky because we're just like still getting used to the pronouns, and we're seeing this weird phenomenon where these personal pronouns are not going to be translated as him or her, but more like this or that because there's a redundancy. But who wants to share? Carson?
Do you see that woman? Do you love her? Should you give her that?
Very good. No, that's excellent. Do you see that woman? Do you love her? What was the last part?
Should you give her something?
Should you give her something? That's really close. We can clean up the last part, but the first two parts were perfect. So I'm surprised you got, do you see this or that woman? That's like really good. And I'm going to explain why it's that and not do you see her, comma, the woman, which some of y'all might have gotten, and I don't blame you. Ava? Should you give it to her? Give it to her is a little cleaner than what Carson did. No offense, but yours was really good too. But yeah, give it to her is really great. But y'all both are using should. You don't actually have debeo. You're probably thinking of debeo because of like dodare, but y'all, I know y'all know it. So dare because you're saying give. So what is our helping verb? Instead of should, it's going to be what? What tense is? We'll go back to the first two clauses, but real quick, what tense is da bisne, Kaylin? Huh? Will, says Carson, uses what tense? Yeah, it's future second person. All these verbs are second person. Da bisne, amasne, videsne. Don't get thrown off on the nay. You can mentally disregard it. It's just a question, right? I had somebody yesterday like tell me they like looked up videsne in the dictionary and couldn't find it. Remember, if it's a verb, its dictionary entry is going to look different. Like you're not going to find exactly vides or videsne in the dictionary, even if you do drop it. Now, there should be a nay, and it would have a weird like hyphen before it or a dash, and tell you that yeah, it just means that a question is happening. But even like if you drop the nay, vides is not in the dictionary. Video videri is, right, and that is something Charmander is not giving to us because he's mean. But like it's gonna look different, like verbs and nouns especially. You won't find them identically in the dictionary unless you're using Wiktionary, and Wiktionary will tell you like, hey, this is the dative singular of this noun, or this is the third person singular active indicative present tense form of this verb. Jake?
I realized how long I got this sentence,
Yeah.
and it's kind of funny. Can I read it?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, thank you.
Do you see this woman?
That's
Do
good.
you love her? Take her as a gift.
Take her. Oh, yeah. So your first two things were perfect. So that just makes it funnier that your third one was pretty off and also funny. But your first two clauses were perfect. So
Take her mom.
I can kind of see why you ended up with that. That would be more like, I don't know what that would be. It'd be like, how do you tell someone to take something?
Take this
It'd be
woman.
like, I can't think of the verb right now. My ninth graders had it. But anyway, it's not quite that. It's more like a giving thing, not a taking thing. But anyway, but y'all are right to translate this as like, do you see? You could also like awkward. We're talking about different ways to translate present tense verbs or questions. You can use do or does or is are am. You could say like, are you seeing this girl or woman? But that's really awkward compared to just do you see this or that girl. But I hope you guys are like aware of this weird thing that's going on. If it was just with Destiny Aeon, that would be do you see her? Aeon is usually going to be her. But there's this weird thing, this like annoying thing that I really don't like actually. These third person personal pronouns can function either as personal pronouns like him, her, his, hers, he, she, etc. Or they can just do the same job that he and Ella do. And you know which one it is if like there's a redundancy, like if it's right next to a noun that's the same case number gender. See, they're both any and am. Like they do kind of clearly go together. Because the alternative would be, like I said, do you see her, comma, the woman? That's really kind of weird. So you just say this or that woman. And you can choose. It's this or that. It doesn't really matter. You just treat it as this like open-ended demonstrative thing. And then Amasne Aeon, then it goes back to it is going to be her here for Aeon. Do you love her? Are you loving her would be weird. So do is the good helping verb to use here. And then like we switch over to will because this is the first future tense verb. The other ones are present. So will you give, and this is weird, not just it, will you give what? Id donum. If it was just id, it would be will you give it. Huh? No, I think you said it, Richard. Yeah, well, so that is okay, but maybe this or that, like make it a full demonstrative pronoun. Because again, there's a redundancy. You don't want to say, will you give it, comma, the gift? Like, that's kind of weird, so just say this or that gift. Like, I get why you think there's an article, but yeah, make it a full demonstrative. And then e is like, we've seen this a couple times now, but it's still weird. It barely looks like a word. It'll usually be to him or to her. Usually. Everybody, or Charmander, everybody usually there. Because, like, it could technically be a masculine they. Well, we haven't seen it that way yet. I think we've just seen it as, like, this indirect object. Yeah, in this case, it'll be her. Because we know the gender. But it's actually the same for masculine and fem. Any questions on this one? So not actually like that hard, just some new stuff with going on with the pronouns. This is kind of new. I don't think if you've seen neck, neck yet. We've learned that, what was the thing that we learned? Oh, did it help you? Okay. Remember we learned that there could be like two ets. Like if there's an et that's too early, it's not and this and that. It's like both this and that. This is similar. Also like set ed, non-solum, set edium, not only but also. So neck, neck is neither blah or sorry, nor actually is what you would use. We'll get either or soon, which I don't know why we don't have that yet, huh?
Neither him nor her.
Something about neither him nor her.
However. Send it.
But who sends to me?
He will send it.
Not quite he, but I like that you used will. That's awesome that you used will. But he's not quite right.
Oh,
they will send it to me. Okay, I guess I'll click through. So here, where we saw this redundant aeon last sentence that needed to just be this or that, this woman. Here, aeon, like in the second part of the sentence, is back to just being her. So neither him nor her they send to me, however. But obviously, you probably want to put the they at the beginning, even though it is coming from the verb ending. Because it's, it's not the end of the world if you start that way. Neither him nor her they send. It's okay, but it sounds a little Yoda-ish. So you might want to start with they will send. And that's really important. I should have brought up the third or fourth conjugation future tense verb chart because you gotta be careful about these verbs. If you think that there's even a chance they're a third or fourth conj, and you see an e or an am in the ending, that's a dang old future. And that's an am without a b, because if it's b-am, that's a past. So that's Latin for you. What cases may, anyone? What cases may Grace or Laura or Aiden or John?
Accusative.
Good, yeah. It's not a direct object, right?
It's a preposition.
Yeah. It's this new orange object of add. Add means to, and it takes an accusative. May could be ablative, but this is not a preposition that takes an ablative. The direct objects are him and her. It's what you're not verbing. The they is not verbing him nor her. Those are the direct objects, accusatives. All right, Moving right along, then who can read number 3? Ava, thank you. Good. What do you get for this? Oh, nice. What about the nature of old age do you understand? That's perfect. That's really perfect. There's different word orders we can do. You could do, well, does anybody have any, like, instead of like, what about, I like that you kind of captured the word order a little bit. Like, what about the nature of old age do you understand? You kind of like contained it all in a way that like fits the Latin word order actually. But we can make it more Englishy sounding, or I mean, yours sounds like perfectly good English, but we can make it more like, like putting our subjects toward the beginning or something. Carson, what do you think?
What do you naturally learn about?
Yeah, like what do you said what do you learn?
Yes.
So
What do you
understand.
naturally-
Did you say no or understand? Understand. Yeah, understand probably what we want to do with IntelliGo. Like learn's not that far off. That'd be more like this goes up. Yeah, for some reason I thought we didn't have this verb yet. We saw it in the Catalan story yesterday. But yeah, it means to understand. So like obvious, like what are the obvious related words to IntelliGo? Anyone? Intelligent. Yeah. So if you have intelligence on something, you need to understand it. So anyway, but Carson did a slightly different thing where he puts the you up front. What do you understand? But Ava proved you don't need to do that, which is kind of cool. But yeah, that subject you, it's showing up here right off the bat, which helps us English readers. But of course, the verb is second person, so we would like know that anyway once we look at the end. So what do you, or way more awkwardly, what are you understanding about the nature of old age? But what about the nature of old age do you understand is really good, actually. I like it. Sorry. Yeah, case is what? Oh, it's ablative. Yeah. And why is this ablative? I always forget to ask about ablative. One thing I don't like about my color coding system is I feel like I like ask less about the cases of some things, but it's the object of day. Day here is going to be about, like, you know, what do you understand about something? Understand from. I don't know if we understand from things. I guess maybe every once in a while, context wise. But anyway, it's the object of day, and then selectutis is genitive. John? Say. Oh yeah, it says it's still. I changed the color, but I didn't change. Okay, well, it's on every slide, so I have to wait until like the next day of slides to make that change. But yeah, I'll do that. So it'll say like dark yellow, I guess is what we call that. Real quick, guys, just a reminder. Remember when you're looking at a nouns dictionary entry, the first form you see is what case, everyone? It's what case is the first form you see of any nouns dictionary entry? Yeah, it's nominative, right? That's a subject singular form. And what is the second form, though, just to be clear? It is genitive, okay? Does everybody hear that? I really want that to be known by everyone. That when Charmander or the dictionary is giving us a nouns dictionary entry, there's a reason there's two things listed. Partly it's like so we know what declension things are, since things can, there's some ambiguity sometimes just looking at the nominative. Like this, looking at this, it could be second, third, or fourth, actually, unfortunately. Spoiler. But the second one is the genitive. So if you see something and you like look it up and you're like, oh, that's like the second form of the dictionary entry, I hope you know like immediately like, oh, that's the genitive. There is an exception in the first declension that AE shows up in like 700 places. And if it's second declension, it could be nominative plural. With the third declension, the genitive is super, it's like very unique, right? There's nothing, it doesn't show up anywhere else in the declension. So if it's showing up with that IS and it is third declension, it's genitive. It'll change a little bit. Eventually we'll get nominatives that end this way, but right now, nouns are in an IS, and it's not a long IS, and I'm really good about typing my macrons on second and first declension ablative plurals. That's a genitive. Like, that's just what it is if there's no macron over that I in the IS. It's genitive. Okay, anyone want to read, what is this for? Mr. Carlson.
Vitae frater lum cutatum UVI et studium voluptas.
Good. Okay. Let's speak of the devil. We got a couple of the things I was just talking about last slide. Who wants to translate? Anyone? Ella or anybody on e-learning, remember you can always chime in if you want to share, but I know you guys don't necessarily always have your homework done at this point. But, you got at least 2 volunteers. Guys, we used to have a lot more volunteers at the beginning of the fall last year. I know that the Latin gets harder but I still wish it was more people sharing than just a couple. But I'm glad we got a couple. Ava,
I can.
yeah,
maybe
Ella,
translate.
go ahead, and then we'll hear from in class as well.
Okay. Let go, O my Father, any desire for money and study pleasure.
Very good. Okay, we need to fix studium voluptatis slightly, but that's awesome. And let go is perfect. Okay, I think we've mostly, or at least I have mostly told you guys, Mitcho is like sin. But if you translate this as just sin, it sounds pretty funky. So let go is perfect. So we can add something to send. Did anybody add something to send? We're gonna hear from Ava Carson, but you could say, well, I'll ask Ava Carson first. Ava, what'd you do? Pursuit of pleasure, perfect. And you use let go too, Carson?
Okay. Send it, oh my brother. I desire money and the pleasure of study.
Okay, you started really good, and then you changed. You almost took like cupiditas as like a verb desire, but the verb to desire is actually desidero, desiderare. We've seen it a couple times in stories. And cupiditas, think of Cupid, and like if he hits you with his arrow, he like makes you desire something. But yeah, that it's desire the noun. But anyway, that was very close. Jake?
I got probably extremely off sentence.
Fine. That was interesting last time, and mostly right last time.
Send mine. I think is I did something messed up. But
Sure.
Send my brother money. He needs to feel happiness.
Nice. Yeah. That's an interesting version where you took pecunia as the direct object, like send my brother money, and you're taking brother as the indirect object, which is actually not. I wonder what my brother is. But anyway, no, that's not that far off, honestly. And it was slightly humorous sounding. So, but send away might work, but let go is probably even better. But I did send away. So yeah, mita here is a what? Anyone out loud? What is mita? It's from a verb, but it's funky. But like it's just gonna translate as just straight up send or send away or let go. So what? It's not I let go. It's not you let go. It's a im. Not imperfect. Another I am word. Anyone? Y'all, a lot of y'all translated it right. Imperative, right? Remember, guys, if you know something is a verb, but it doesn't have like o, m, st, must, have, sent, or any like tense ending, that makes it like I verb or you verb or it verb. It's probably a command. And if it's a command, it's going to be ending in a vowel like a, or e. A or e right now, or like nothing at all. If it's like Duke, like lead. Or e. Or ite or ete or ate. I'm sure you're already able to keep track of that when I was just saying like that. But anyway, this is a singular imperative. Somebody is like one person is being told to do something. So send, oh my brother. What case is oh my brother? Anyone out loud? Yeah, it's vocative. It could sound, if you're not careful, like if you don't use commas, kind of, it could sound like you're saying like send my brother or send away my brother. I'm gonna add away, but everyone at least write send away or what did y'all use?
I said.
Yeah, let go. Let go is actually better. You don't want to quite say send it, but because there's not an it being, it's not id. It is sometimes it. But anyway, my brother, he's being spoken to. He's vocative, which we don't have a color for anymore. He's not the thing being sent or the recipient of the thing being sent either. The thing being sent comes right after him, and the reason we like understand that is because those sure look accusative to me. And what comes after a verb? An accusative direct object. So any desire, we see pecuniae, we're like, oh, ae could be a million things, but it can be genitive. That seems to be like what it most commonly is. I guess nominal plural is also pretty common. But it's desire of money. And then studium can be study. Elsewhere it might be like actual study. But here I think pursuit is better. And then pursuit, voluptatis is, it needs to be pink. Because yeah, we basically have a compound direct object, and they're both like possessed by a possessive genitive noun. In this case, pecuniae and voluptatis are both genitive, but they're different declension genitives. Any questions? No. All right, last one, guys. I'm liking this pace we're hitting, this stride. I'll pass out the test after this and go back through from last week. No, we're gonna take a test right after this. No. Who wants to read number 5? Let's have 8. Well, actually, wait. No. Sorry. I haven't heard from Aiden. Go ahead. Thank you. No. Yeah, do the fifth one. Good. I'm sure Aiden and pretty much everyone else in here would appreciate it. People like Richard and Caitlin don't talk over people when they're reading Latin. So it's Morbus. Good job, Aiden. Who wants to share their translation of this? Not Aiden. That's fine. I'm glad you volunteered anyway. Let's hear from Carson and Ava again. Maybe Ella has something. Carson, you can go first this time if you.
Is disease scary? What do you do, sister?
Is disease even scaring him? What do you, dear sister? You said fear? Fear? Okay, so not fear. But anyway, pretty close, but also Alora and Caitlin. Focus, please. Remember, I can see why this happens, but this isn't. It shouldn't actually be is. Is if it's all by itself, meaning there's not a nominative singular masculine by it. It's actually he. Okay, so it's not is in English. It looks like is this really common verb in English, but actually this is like he. But here it's not going to be he, right, Nathan? Nathan, I'm gonna have to move you, buddy. Like, and then also the Caitlin Dugan duo is trouble today. Is Morbus? What should we translate? Is Morbus? Oh yeah, Ava, you want to go ahead? Good. Perfect. Okay, yeah, that's pretty great. So she said that disease terrified me. That's perfect. So we can say this or that. It's just like the thing in the first sentence with eam femininum, where we didn't actually want to say, like, do you see her, comma, the woman? Because it would be like he, comma, the disease terrifies me. It's like, wait, what? The disease is a he? So no, you just kind of, like, it's just masculine because Morbus is masculine. Otherwise, it'd be like id, and we would know maybe more quickly that, like, it's just like it's just going with that as a demonstrative. But yeah, it tricks us into thinking maybe it's going to be he for a second as a subject, but it's actually just like redundant with Morbus. So this or that disease. What tense Caden, Nathan, or Jake is to rave on? What tense is that? Future or imperfect? Imper, very good. So this disease often terrified me. What case Soraya, Danny, or David, or maybe Ava is May? What case is it? It could be ablative, but here it's like terrified me. So if it's coming right after the verb. Laura, what case is May? Actually, let's let Laura, since she's so intent on just like hanging out with Maddie back there. If this is an ablative, what would it be? And the sentence is, this disease terrified me also. So when we hear that, when we hear this subject verbed me, we should automatically know what that me, that word that's coming after the verb has to be. If something gets verbed in a sentence, it's what, Ava? Huh? It's an accusative direct object, right? Remember, May can be accusative or ablative. Tay can be accusative or ablative. So, yeah, like May and Tay, they have flexibility, but they're easy to get confused. Okay, there is the first part. What do you, dear sister? We haven't seen soror in a while. What are some words we get from soror, sororis? They're to clinch out loud. Sorority, yeah, sorority sister. Okay, in college you'll have the opportunity to rush during pledge week and join a Greek life fraternity or sorority, depending on, you know, if you're a guy or a girl. And you can do that if you want. Sometimes they're kind of just like clubs to party with. Other times they're like academic, and they're you go like live in a house instead of a dorm, and it might be a good time. I don't know. Frats can be good or bad. Sororities are probably more chill than frat. Okay, anyway, that's my opinion on that. What do you, dear sister? So we also have not seen Karis Karakaram a lot. And, oh yeah, what do you think about this? So translating AO as this. That's awesome. Good job for people who did that. Think or feel or sense. This can kind of be like cogito, sentio, sentire, but it's a little more like a general sensory kind of perception instead of like just a mental based thing. And yeah, because Ao in other contexts it'd be him. What do you think about him, dear sister? But again, it's like, why would we call the disease him? It's just, I mean, it could be neuter here, but it is technically masculine just to match Morbus's gender. Any questions, Caitlin?
The sentence kind of sounds like it's based on.
Yeah, I can see that. That's true. Huh? Oh, nice. Good job. All right, if I pick this one, guys, I'll be honest, I don't have any preference right now. There's, as the day continues, I might figure it out, and I'll give y'all a hint tomorrow. But right now, I don't know which one I'm going to pick. If I pick this one, I would maybe ask about the tense of Terebot being imperfect, third singular. I might just ask the tense and not the person and number, because I think OST must have sent, at this point, it should be, kind of put to rest on some level. What else would I ask about? I could ask about AO being ablative, guys. So you might want to take a note. That's a little tricky, but it really could only be ablative, and I'll make sure there's a long O. Because long O's and long A's just hanging off at the end of a noun, that should make you think ablative, or just consider it at least. And then May, the only other thing I would ask about the case of May being accusative, because I want to ask about the cases of pronouns. This will be on the board. So all of this will be on the board, so it should be pretty straightforward for you. But you could say that this is ablative, because May could be ablative in other contexts. If I pick this sentence, I'll probably ask about both Pecunia and Voluptatis at the same time, Alora being genitive, and maybe Cupiditatem being accusative direct object. That'd be kind of easy, but okay, if I'm feeling kind of mean and I give you a word bank for this, so I'd probably give it away. I might ask the verbal mood of Mita. We don't talk about mood a lot because it's just all of our verbs are in what's called the indicative mood, except the imperative ones. The commands are in the imperative mood. You won't get the third and final mood until chapter 28, and that's when you start to master the language, and the subjunctive mood is kind of the beginning of the end. Ask my 9A kids about it, and they will tell you all about subjunctive and how crazy it is. If I pick this one before I start passing back y'all's tests, I'll ask about natura being ablative and senectutis being genitive. The verb here isn't interesting because it's present tense, so I don't think I'd ask about this verb. And if I pick this one, I will ask about the future tense of mitent. Okay, probably not the person and number because it's third plural and everyone should know that. But future tense, that's hard to know. May being accusative here, I'd ask about, and am and aeon being accusative, I'd ask about. So a way to remember this one, if I do pick it, it's that everything's accusative, but these are direct objects, whereas this is an object of a prep, which I won't ask about that, and then this is future tense. Ava? Any one of these five, I'm not sure. Like I said, I haven't really decided yet. Today I might start to realize I'll hint at it tomorrow, but it might just be fully random. So y'all kind of need to be ready for all five. And then last but not least, if I pick this one, case and direct object accusative function of this, case and direct object function of that, possibly. I might ask about all two of them or three of them at the same time. And then this being future tense. And then maybe the hardest one I'd ask, if I did pick this one, which actually now that I think about it, this would be dative. This would be dative and indirect object. Okay, if I ask for the case, it's dative. The function, it's indirect object. Okay, and donum should be read with it. But I won't ask about it donum. Any questions? But I'm not totally sure. I just admitted to maybe leaning towards this one. I just feel does this have the most pronouns? Should I pick the one with the most pronouns? I think I should. I just froze it for some reason. All right, let me. Should I leave it? Let's just put it on the second declension. I shouldn't talk about the third declension right now. That'd be a bad idea. But that's what's happening next week, so should be on our radar. Does anybody have plans this week? Also, can someone explain to me, is it or is it not snowing soon? I can't. Okay, but it's not as bad as what people thought, right? Is that for a second they were oh, there's 3 days of snow next week. People say last Friday, but it's the weekend's gonna be okay, right? I can golf. Is that y'all think I can golf this weekend?
Maybe.
I would go to Cherokee Ridge. It's scheduled, but I hope it doesn't get snowed out. Do you golf, Richard? Yes. Oh, cool. Where do you go?
I'm in. Really?
I've never been there. I've only been to a few places. What's your like go-to if you have to get something like over 200? What do you use? Three wood. I got I think a 4 wood recently, and I really like it. Why do I really good? And I guess you can make this stuff if you need to, but the average is really high. So I was like going off a retake. That's like a plus.
I got an Oh.
Yeah, you could get 22 on this. Yeah. Like some people might almost earn 23, Guys, how about if you get lower than a 15, you can retake it, but Friday is by the cutoff. So you can like take both. Like a 15, like lower than 50. Like you're fine. You could have a B.
What is in your house?
I did it. I don't know.
Kaylin, I'm really mad. What is it? Amy? Well then, yeah, y'all because my vacuum is gone. Broke my back. Well, I think so. Huh? Well, you're good. What? Oh, I'm so happy. I thought she was broken forever. All right, guys, go ahead and sit back down because we never finished the Cataline reading, and we got 8 minutes, and y'all already got so loud. It's like I'm obviously not gonna let y'all just like recess until so. Let's I know it anyway. It's Wednesday though, guys. Most weeks, remember, it's like Tuesday and Wednesday are the days where we just gotta do like nonstop translating. Sorry, that's how the structure of my class is. Mondays now have gotten fun, right? We got Reception Corner and Myth Monday. Tomorrow we'll play Jeopardy, so that'll happen a lot on Thursdays. And then Friday is just like a short test day. So, Caitlin, y'all can't really be too mad if I force you to have 2 full back-to-back classes of Latin. I'm sorry, but we've got to find out what happens to Cicero's. He's in the middle of like a roast of Cataline. It's pretty good, right? The Senate understands these things. The consul sees them. Did we get to this part? He lives. He's like, nevertheless, this guy lives. Cataline lives. He lives. He even comes into the Senate. He even dares to do these plans, to carry out these plans, maybe is a way to do that. He assigns us to death, and where did we get here?
No.
And we, good men, we do nothing. And then, okay, did we get to this last? Yeah. Okay. To death. The Senate and Consul should lead you, Cataline. Now here, I don't think we did this because I rarely do this with any class. So concilium habemus et agra debemus. Who can do that for us?
William Consul.
Sorry, e-learners, I passed out a test or passed back a test for a while. I'm also a little behind putting y'all's grades up, but they will be entered by this weekend. Anyway, that's why there was dead air for 5 minutes.
I don't know what to translate Ago as. But it's a bunch of other stuff.
Well, ago here is an infinitive. It's coming after debeo. So debemus is, what's the subject first off? If it's habemus and debemus, what's the subject? Not Carson or Ava or another kid who, let's see. I'm going to ask totally random kids. Antonio, David, Aiden, John, Caden, and Caitlin. What's the subject of a sentence with these verbs? Huh?
We.
Antonio, yeah, we, right? So we do what? Abea, we have Ava, we have a
Council. A plan.
a plan, yeah. It can be counsel like advice, but it's probably plan here. So Cicero's even though he thinks that they're not doing enough as it is, they haven't done enough, he's we do have a plan, and debemus agra.
And we should.
And we should, right? Should.
We should act.
Act is perfect. Just act. Yeah, act is perfect. We could say do it, do the plan. But we have a plan and we should act. See anyone? If
we act, we will.
Caden, chill out. Caitlin, chill out. If we
will not.
Yeah, to do not, present tense. So we do not act now. No. We, he's repeating himself. And he's stopping M dash to say.
We openly learn.
This means openly, not disco. I openly. Yeah. Remember, guys, deco is speak. Disco is learn. Deco is speak. Think of dictionary or dictation or dictator versus discovery. So he's saying, speak openly now.
Go
what?
away.
He's saying that we.
Go away.
No, not quite. He's not on command to Catalan right here. But I see why you think that. If it was era, it's leave. Go away. Yeah, right? Ava sees that it's we make a mistake. We go astray here. Final warning for Caden before I guys, please don't make me do a seating arrangement for this class. Y'all are amazing compared to the other 7th graders, and that I've not had to do a seating arrangement for y'all. But I could tell it would probably help a couple people, the area around Caden and Caitlin, and sometimes Alora maybe or Miss Fisher. Anyway, sorry to single you guys out, but you know who you are. So it's there's a repetitiveness to it. Okay, we have a plan and we should act. And we not act, and I speak openly here as Cicero. We go astray, Senate. We go astray. We make a mistake. Now, fuga nunc, Catalina. What is that?
Flee now.
Flee now, Cataline. And lead. Remember, guys, this just means kuma plus te. That's all it is. Think of it as 2 different words.
With
yeah,
you.
and lead with you.
Your love.
Your love, your friends. Yeah, it's related to alma mater, but it's just friends. And then nobis with us,
we will not be able
pote.
You
What
will
person?
not be
You.
able to
Blank of soda.
remain.
Blank of soda.
You cannot.
You
remain.
cannot remain. Yeah, he's saying with us, you cannot remain, Cataline. And he's gonna say not you, not.
Him.
It's illos, right? Not these.
Not that man. Not that woman.
Not those. Not you. Not those men. Not
No. Not
your
council.
remember your plans. Not your plans.
Not your
None of
plan
them
will be
will
Will be tolerated.
Will be tolerated.
Yeah, will I tolerate? Will I tolerate? So we probably want to put I at the beginning, but we could kind of start off with the direct object, sort of, like there. We could say, like, not you, not those men, not your plans, will I tolerate? That actually kind of works. But I did it a little more straightforwardly. And that's it, guys. What words here did y'all mess up? Actually, I think they're, like, fine. All right, I'm truly out of things to show you guys now. So just keep it kind of quiet in these last couple of minutes, all right? Just keep it chill, all right? You can drill the second to clinch. You can get up here and draw on the second to clinch. No, not really, probably. All right, guys, good job. Again, if you want to make up the homework for full credit, do it till 10. Work till 10 and show it to me by tomorrow, and you can get full credit. And then there's 5 of you who would get, like, a bad grade otherwise. All right.
Yeah, the police cars.
Yeah, someone's gonna rush. You can leave.
Yeah.
Oh, that was.
All right, that's it for today. Sorry for the gaps on the video, guys. Anyway, looking forward to looking at y'all's homework. Goodbye.